My name is Renee Noel Smith. I'm an exhibition artist in the 10th Annual Alumni Exhibition, Alumni 4, and I'm an assistant professor of practice at Prairie View A&M University.
So could you tell us what you gained from studying at Southern, and how did it prepare you to become an artist, professional, or educator?
I learned all the art foundations from Southern University, and because of that, I'm able to teach that to my students.
So would you mind telling us about your pieces?
Yes. The top one is called Missing Rockport, and it came from when I lived in Rockport, Texas back in 2012 when I was working for an artist, Jesus Morales. He let me work in his studio for about 4 months, and we created granite sculptures from scratch. So I would go to the beach every day after work, and I would just enjoy the sunset and the water and just take in all of the positive energy from it. And the bottom half is called Funnel Waves, and it's just basically a reflection of what happened during Hurricane Harvey. Rockport, Texas was basically wiped off the map almost. So I haven't been there since 2012, so I don't know exactly how it looks now, but it's just, this is how it might look, but hopefully everybody's okay.
So what inspired your pieces?
The beach in general, just looking at the waves and just calming myself from work, because I worked really hard when I was in Rockport, Texas. It was super hot outside, and just going to the beach, going in the water and cooling off and just enjoying it. Hopefully I didn't get stung by a jellyfish during that time, but luckily I was just not stung at all. So I just enjoyed from there.
And how long did each of these pieces take?
Just to think about putting them together, it took about an hour to just say, like, okay, how can I take what I have in my head and put it down on paper? That was my biggest struggle. So I just went on ahead and made that mark and just took it from there.
So what was your approach to your first concept?
The first concept was when I went outside, the sunset was out, and that's where the warm colors came from, and the cool colors just helped balance that out.
And what about your second concept?
And the second one, it's just in the summertime when Hurricane Harvey happened, it was hot outside. Like, I was like, if I could be back in the ocean and be cooled off, that would be the route I would take. So that's where this inspiration came from.
And so what was the reasoning behind your choices of color?
Just a combination of warm and cool colors with the top one. And again, with the bottom one, it's just feeling cool in a hot environment, and also thinking of how things would have been if I didn't have electricity, if I were still in Rockport during Hurricane Harvey.
And so how or where would we find your artwork?
You can find my artwork at www.reneenoelsmith.com.
And would you have any advice for any upcoming artists?
Yes, learn as many techniques as you can, because they do play hand in hand with each other. I learned how to do painting, drawing, ceramic, sculpture, and a whole lot of other things. And I also use the internet as my inspiration to help me learn and stay up to date with everything. So I would inspire artists to just keep learning.
And did you find art early or later in your life? And what was that push that really got you into art?
I found it early in life. Ever since I was in elementary school, a lot of my friends and teachers would encourage me to do some artwork, because I was always drawing in class, getting in trouble for doodling and not paying attention, and my grades kind of suffered a little bit until I started learning how to focus and balance the two out. And when I got to college, originally my parents wanted me to study something that I can get a job in. So I said, I just want to do art. And they said, well, you can do that, but you want to get a job. And I said, no, I'm going into art. So I just made it my mission to just go to the art department, and I've been studying it since then, and it actually worked in my favor, because again, everything I learned from Southern University in the art department, I'm teaching to my students in the art department now at Prairie View A&M University.
My name is Claudia Bell. I am a ceramist. I teach for McKinley Middle here in Baton Rouge. I've been teaching in and around Baton Rouge for around 12 years.
And so what did you gain from studying at Southern University? How did you prepare to become an artist, professional, or educator?
Southern University has been a staple of my family for a very long time. My grandparents were very proud when they knew I was coming here. Being part of this 10th homecoming alumni exhibition is absolutely a prideful moment for me. Being here prepared me for teaching students of all backgrounds, across all economic levels, and I absolutely am proud to be a part of this.
Would you mind telling us about your piece?
Well, the title of it is Click. Its foundation is based in our somewhat addiction to technology in our telephones. As you can see, they are sitting in a communal setting. However, none of them are fully communicating with each other. They're focused on the devices in their hands. Their positioning is that of prayer. Oftentimes we revere our phones more than others, more than the world around us even. The mirrors are representative of how we see ourselves inside that device, whether it's social media, our images, our contacts, all of those things. And if we lose that, we feel like we lose a part of ourselves. So there are hidden meanings in the entire thing. You have to really look at it for a period of time to engage in each one of the individual persons that are represented. I did not limit it to your typical or traditional images that you're used to seeing in sculpture.
And so what inspired you to make this piece?
Eating dinner at a restaurant with my family and looking around at the people who were sitting there on their phones but not engaging with each other. It was very disappointing.
And so how did you first approach this concept in your piece?
Well, knowing that I wanted the structure of the bodies to be that of prayer, because people have such reverence for their phones, that representation alone is very powerful to me. And many times when people are looking at their phones, that is that position with their bodies. So when I approached it, that's the focal point that I wanted people to walk away with.
And so what was your reasoning behind the structure and the color of the piece?
The color is, I don't want people to see just the figures that you see here. I want you to dive into what you traditionally feel like someone should look like, especially when they have orange hair, or if they're an amputee, or if someone is androgynous. The coloring plays into that as well.
And so how do we find more of your artwork?
I'm an educator. I don't sell my artwork. I'm very attached to it. If I make something, it's usually as a gift to someone else. But I do teach in and around the community. You can find me teaching pottery classes locally.
And so where will we find you?
LSU and anyone else who's needing me.
And so what do you have any advice for any upcoming artists?
Art's all around us, all the time. You have to be bold, you have to be able to fail and forgive yourself for all of those things. Nothing is perfect the first time we do it. So push forward. You have to know that you want it. It doesn't come easy. So
that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Could you tell me about yourself?
My name is Antoine Ghost Mitchell. I am a 2007 graduate of Southern University of Baton Rouge, Fine Arts Department. And coming to Southern was the best thing I could have done academically and artistically.
Great. And so what did you gain from studying at Southern University? And how did it prepare you to become an artist, professional, or educator?
I learned a lot about African and African American art. I've been doing art all my life, and up until that point when I came to Southern in 2002, I didn't know anything about African or African American art. So that's the biggest thing that it gave me.
Great. And so would you like to tell us about your piece?
This is called I Am Coexistence. Basically, it's a piece just what it says it is, I am coexistence. It's about balance, it's about peace, it's about respect for beliefs that are not mine. it involves a lot of different things I've studied or different things that friends of mine have practiced and what have you. And it was my first piece of 2015, and it's a very personal piece. It has different spiritual ways of life symbols, including the Buddha wheel and other elements, sacred geometry, the Ankh. So it's kind of like an ancient futuristic piece. And the scarf is my wife's pointy scarf, actually.
Amazing. And so what inspired you to do this piece, and how long did it take?
Love. Love for all inspired me to do it. It took probably about maybe 15 to 20 hours. Most of the time, and that was pretty much making sure everything was balanced out as much as I could.
And so how did you approach the concept in your piece?
Evolution of myself. I came up with the concept in 2010, but I wasn't spiritually there yet. And then I started painting more, and it pretty much blossomed on its own.
Great. And so what was the reason behind your choice of color?
I don't know. I really wanted to do something that was kind of universal, like galaxy-like, cosmic, as well as something that was kind of earthly. So you see a lot of blues and a lot of greens in there, so kind of earth meets space type of thing in spirituality. That's just that.
Great. And so how will we find any more of your art pieces?
www.poartry.net, although I hadn't updated it since 2015, but you can find me on Facebook at Antoine Mitchell, Instagram at The Art Alchemist, that's the _art _alchemist, and 225-933-7090. I'm very personable, so that's that piece, and I got this piece too.
Great. And would you like to tell us about that piece as well?
Yes. This is called Ashe Dance. It's some concept art from a Afro fantasy comic book that I'm developing called Sankofa's Embrace. And I just wanted to capture a scene of one of the main characters with some of the other characters kind of sprinkled throughout. She's a belly dancer and she also uses magic. So I wanted to not only just capture a scene with her doing that, I also wanted to put like some Baroque art techniques in there with the dramatic lights and darks. And it's actually a digital painting. So I did it entirely in this program called Clip Studio Art, which was formerly known as Manga Studio. And it's one of my personal favorite pieces, but this is some concept art based on my comic book.
And so do you have any future plans with this specific art piece?
Yeah, it's for sale. But I'm also planning on releasing the comic book like very, 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 very soon. Like 2019, January soon.
Great. And that'll be all. Thank you so much.
Bless.
Would you mind telling us about yourself?
Yes, my name is Brian Abear. I'm a visual artist, curator, and educator. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I graduated from Southern University in 1997. Art degree.
So what did you gain from studying at Southern University, and how did it prepare you becoming an artist, professional, or educator?
I gained a lot. I gained a thorough 360-degree understanding of visual arts and fine arts. I learned about curatorial studies. I learned about drawing, painting, and sculpting, full-blown. Got into curatorial studies here, cut my teeth right here in this gallery when I didn't give a damn about hanging work for an exhibition or anything curatorial. Mr. Cox got me into that, as well as some of my other colleagues, and fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since.
So would you mind telling us about your piece?
This piece here, this concept is called Return of the Ghetto Bastard in America. This is a series of body of work, a series I'm working on. It started here actually at Southern. Years ago I did a piece, it was a pencil drawing called The Ghetto Bastard, and I was just revisiting that concept, but in paint. And the Aquaba, is typically a female, and Ashanti, Akan, people of Akan, they use the Aquaba as like a practice doll for women who are expecting. And so it's typically a female or unisex, but in my narrative, it's a male. And it speaks to young black men. And this whole body of work is about black male ascension. And it speaks to us being unprepared to survive in an environment, and we thrive in it. Very similar to dropping off a pit bull puppy on the Serengeti and coming back 2 years later, and that puppy is thriving, running around with a king cobra in his mouth. You know what I mean? So it puts, in this work, it puts the child in an unnourished environment, but the child thrives and becomes much better than was ever expected. The concept came from Naughty by Nature, and it was one of the songs, and it was a line where Tretch said, you know, that's what you get for messing with a ghetto bastard. And so I took that concept and I pushed forward on it and just, you know, basically just developed a character and just wanted to use nationalist flags, the, you know, Cuban flag, every flag that has, it's a nationality. We're all part of a global white supremacy system, so we're speaking to that and us surviving past it. And so you got Galaxy behind these brick patterns that look like the flag. The original piece was bricks. So I started playing with those different concepts, whether it's American flag, whether the Aquaba is in green, or whether Aquaba is red, black, and green, it doesn't matter. It's all of them are expansive as far as stylized and designed to just speak to us thriving past what was expected.
So, how long did this piece specifically take?
The piece, it probably took maybe 40, 50 hours, you know what I mean? Just kind of, you know, the concept go back to the mid-90s, you know what I mean? So it's like sometimes, you know, an idea, a narrative will fester in your head, and, you know, and sometimes it's not the right time to push it. But then you turn around and you push it later on, especially speaking to what's going on now in our environment. So, you know, you don't hear a lot about black males. Right now, it's a heavy, you know, I ain't mad at the sisters at all, but it's a heavy feminine energy that just speaks like women, you know, which is great, but what about the men? There's no balance. So this piece and this series is dealing with that balance, like pushing us where we're supposed to be, but showing us in a better light. You know what I mean? Showing us in a thriving light. Like we ain't just making it, we're thriving. Like y'all brothers in here doing it, myself, all of us, Mr. Cox. That's us, you know what I mean? And each time we have to battle any type of adversity, and we come out of it. You know what I mean? I don't know where y'all from. I'm from LA. Grew up straight, Compton, Inglewood, you know, in the heart of gang, right where it was popping in the 80s. A lot of my partners didn't make it. A lot of cats gone, murdered, or just caught up in the system, or smoked out, or whatever. But for everybody who made it, you know what I mean? That's us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all backgrounds are, but it's speaking to that too. You know what I mean? Wherever you come from, if you here and you doing better with your life, that's what I'm talking about. Black male ascension. Time for us to take it to the next level.
So what's your reasoning behind the choices of color?
The color, green is fertility. You know, the flag color is more symbolic for that. You know what I mean? But I cut it up so you notice that it's more like a brick pattern. So I wanted galaxy behind it because, you know, we're deeper than that. You look through them, that's all galaxy. That's all space. That's the unseen, you know what I mean? Because we know we powerful, that we made an image of God. So what does that say? We're God, right? So you look at this figure is green, you know, just basically just representing fertility. Like we making babies. We're creating our own situation in an environment. American flag on the background is telling us we can't. It tells us none of us should be here right now if we listen to America, right? None of us. You wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be, you wouldn't be interviewing me right now. But we here. So what that tell you? You know what I mean? We're beyond anything they can ever, limit. They can't put limitations on us. And we don't put limitations on ourselves. So that's what this is really speaking to. So the colors, they just speak symbolically and also to fertility.
So where could we find more of your artwork?
I've had several websites. I don't really deal with them no more. Instagram, BERN_174. Facebook under Brian Hebert, HEBERT. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm under Jamaica Funk.
So what do you have any advice for any other upcoming artists?
Be true to the game. You know what I mean? Be a composer of visual images, not a renderer of visual images. You know what I mean? We don't learn like musical composition, and then you got studio production. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can take that blank piece of paper and write out a whole song and hear the instruments as you're writing them out. Before the song's even made, you hear all this, and then you call up an 8-piece band and know exactly who you want on drums, exactly who you want on keys. That's what we're doing visually. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would tell them to go for theirs and not be held back. Study the game, not just technical studies, but get into conceptual studies. And then you learn how to compose your own stuff. That'd be my advice.
Thank you so much.
All right.
That's it.
Could you tell us about your pieces?
Sure. The first one is called Yahweh's War Armor. I'm also a character designer, draw comics. One of the things that I love to do the most is create black characters. And my style has evolved from the last 10 years to where I started using more abstract shapes and lines, and also a lot of muted colors. The colors really bring me peace. I like those soft colors. They de-stress me, and they bring me a lot of peace. But this painting here is a depiction of an African American character, and the armor that he's wearing is Yahweh's war armor. I came up with the concept. Yahweh is just one of another names of God. It's an armor that's powered by faith. The stronger the person's faith, the stronger the armor is. So it's a futuristic concept where this brother is donning his armor to fight like a evil. Not really any specific type of evil, because I didn't really go into that deep of it yet. But I just wanted to get like an image. It was an image that was in my head, and it just kind of evolved. Throughout the armor, you see different types of faces. I wanted to make it fierce. It's also based off of samurai armor, also as well. So I love futuristic science fiction type images, movies, books, and literature. My mind is always in the clouds, so I'm always thinking about how things will look in the future. It's something I've been attracted to. I was born in the Star Wars generation, early Star Wars generation. So that movie had a real big impact on my life. So it carries over to my work, and being exposed to a lot of Japanese manga before it even got popular, that really helped me out also as well. But the main thing is that from my class with Mr. Cox in drawing, I really got a really good understanding on how to draw African American people, and also the beauty in our people, as something that they didn't teach me in private school, and just understanding it. And so that was a really, really big influence on me on pushing my work forward, and it is still continuing to evolve each day. The next piece is called Sokohime. Sokohime is Japanese for armored princess, and I love black women. Black women are the most beautiful and most powerful women in the universe. I love creating my black characters with different color eyes, women with different color lipstick. I try to make them just utterly exotic as possible, something that you just wouldn't see normally. The armor that she's wearing is based on like a fox. There's faces all in it also. I like to depict African American women very, very powerful. Primarily for a good little bit, it was just my mother had a big impact on my life, my grandmother, especially my grandmother. That was one of the first times I saw an individual show true forgiveness and understanding to someone, and I didn't really realize how that would impact me later on in life. Like I said, the black women are the foundation for our community. They really uplift us and keep us in check. So I love depicting my African American women characters. Very, very strong, very beautiful, otherworldly. I just want to give our people something different. You know what I'm saying? Something to just like inspire them, and we need something different. We just can't keep seeing the same types of images, even if they're negative over and over again. It's just not good for our children, especially I deal with children on a daily basis teaching middle school art. So I really want to expose them, and I do expose them to stuff like this early on, so that way they won't be ignorant to it. And that's important, that they see positive, strong images, imaginative images, using our imaginations. Get away from our phones, just embrace the environment, just start seeking some knowledge from the elders. We turned away from the elders, and we need to really start respecting them and lifting them up even more. So I love skateboards. I love the shape of them. It's kind of sensual in a way, and I have a really good time doing these pieces, but at times they cause me a lot of anxiety because I have to really be precise with the line work. So, and also with the layering of the flat colors, that could be kind of tedious, putting the layers on them. But at the same time, I've learned to have some patience and some balance. So instead of just like trying to keep up with the Joneses and rush and try to get it all out, I might work in sections. I might do a section here one day and then just take a step back from it, stare at it, go do something with my family and friends and come back to it. So that way I won't destroy the piece of work. Because if you put too much into it, if you're just focusing on it too much, you'll have a tendency to overwork it and you'll end up destroying it. So this happened to me, and it's something that I've learned, and you just have to take it like a man, take it to the chin and move on and just go to the next piece and just keep evolving from there. And the last piece is called the Weathered Monolith, and this is the first true abstract piece that I've ever done. I actually did it for one of my co-workers' homes, and instead of doing something like this for his own, because this is really me, and this is very, very personal. It's very, very sacred to me. So I just wanted to do something different to really bring out his walls. So during this piece, I experimented. I buried my soul out a little bit. A lot of times I don't like to leave pencil marks or traces of the drawing spirit or soul or its essence. I left a lot of pencil marks in there. I have a fascination with futuristic shapes. And I love the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. They have this black thing called the monolith, and it's supposed to be this instrument or this being or this thing that evolved human life. And you never really, it didn't speak, it didn't say anything. It was just a big black slab. So I just wanted to do something along those lines and just experiment with textures and with a lot of colors. And it was something that just kind of like, I just kind of kept working it. It was a little frustrating at times, but that's because I was trying to do too much, I think, at one time. So I just stepped back from it. I'll let it sit for maybe a month or two, come back to it. And then you just have to have that touch, be in tune with God about it to know when it's done. Don't do no more to it, it's done. So art is very spiritual. I understand one thing, that God is a creator, he's an artist. It's the oldest profession in the universe because that's what he does. He speaks things into existence, but he blesses us with the ability to use our hands and do it. And I understand that through this, I can hear him speak to me, and I can build my relationship with him through doing this, because this is something that he put inside me to do. Everybody has their own spiritual experiences and how they hear God and they relate to him, but by creating, I feel like I can touch his hand and I can seek his face through that. So with that being said, each piece is very, very personal to me, and it's almost at times I don't want to give them up now. I want to keep them. So as I get older now, I'm in my 40s, I'm starting to realize like what type of legacy that I want to leave behind. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just hoping that I can just keep evolving, and hopefully I'll be blessed with more life, that I can keep doing this, that my body don't shut down or anything like that. But art is life. It's problem solving. It's a lot of creative design issues that you have to overcome mentally, spiritually, and physically. But I love it, and I'm grateful that I was taught here at Southern, especially with Mr. Cox and the relationship that I built with him, to keep doing this. Because now, it's like, even though I think, even as I work, sometimes I'm like, well, what would Mr. Cox think about this? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm very, very grateful for Southern, because if Southern didn't exist, it wouldn't have brought that man over to be blessed in my life. And he's a big part of what I do, and I'm grateful for him. And I just want to keep evolving, keep pushing it, seeing where this is going to go as I get older. So with that being said, I can say I'm very blessed so far.
Great. And so the next question would be, who would be able to find any more of your art pieces?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think in this season in my life, I'm still creating, I'm still making things, so I kind of like the idea of just being able to pop up now. In a way, I don't want to make myself too available now. It's very, very personal. I stopped taking commissions. It's something that, that's it's very dear to me. And I want to leave, like I said, now I want to leave behind some things that proves my existence, that I was here in a very, very unique way. And it's not so much about jumping up doing all these shows anymore. It's not even so much about selling. It's just about now just the love of being able to do it. You know, that's the main thing, because I understand that it can be taken away at any given time. Anything could happen. So I cherish each moment, each line, each stroke of paint, whatever I do, I really cherish the moment about it. I might not, finish it, as quick as I usually do, but I'm enjoying the journey more. And I think that's the most important thing. So if you see me around, if you happen to see me at a show or you see me, you just consider that like, hey, he came out of hiding, to do this. There's a Nathaniel Landry site. But I'm just, I'm kind of like with the wind with it, If I do some shows, I'm gonna do them. But doing them here is probably like the best thing ever, the most special thing, to be able to do it at your alma mater. Because nobody, let me tell you something, nobody in the world is doing this like how Mr. Cox has brought it to Southern University with the alumni shows. No university, no school in the world has done it. A lot of times you can't even do a show at your school where you graduated from unless you've blown up, you become famous. But he's made an opportunity for us through these alumni shows to show here at Southern. And I get jealous emails and messages from my friends in grad schools like, how you get to show at your university? I said, because y'all don't have a Mr. Cox. So, like I said, I'm going to toot his horn, and I'm going to do it for him because he's blessed all of us with this opportunity. And it's about time for him to get his due, because this what we're all experiencing right now has never been done. Nobody does alumni art shows. LSU hasn't done it. Southeastern hasn't done it. None of these schools hasn't done it. But after they see Southern do it, they'll probably jump on the bandwagon now, because it's very important that you show the product of what's being taught here, that everything that we're doing that's out here. So, we've all evolved since we left here. So I think it was a very great idea that he came up with. And over the years, it's just gotten bigger. And he's just blessed us all with this opportunity to do it. My career as an artist has grown just from doing these shows here at Southern. There's no gallery like it. So with that being said, like I say, if you catch me, you catch me. If you happen to catch me, then it's a good thing. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, if you see me, if I do a festival or do something or have some t-shirts or something out there, then I do it. But I really want to keep some things exclusive a little too, because I think a lot of mystery, people are missing a lot of mystery. And I think we put too much product out there at one time. A lot of times we push too much out there. We need to give the people some time to digest some of the things that we have already out there, instead of just constantly pushing new stuff on them. Let them digest some of the older stuff. Let them really get a good look and get a clear understanding, not a clear understanding, an acute understanding of what we're trying to convey through this work. So I'm not gonna talk no more.
You got any more questions?
No, that was actually it. You actually covered everything on here.
Okay.
You did a great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Q.
Would you mind telling us about yourself, your name, your graduation, and your study?
My name is Lloyd G. Wade. I'm class of 2000, Southern University of Fine Arts and Humanities major.
And so what did you gain from studying at Southern, and how did it prepare you to become an artist, professional, or educator?
I gained a lot of discipline from Southern University. I came in as a student, as a football player for the school, not really exposed to the art education part of it, but I always have had a great love and passion for the artwork. So the school gave me a sense of knowledge, a sense of confidence to be able to talk and explain my artwork and know why I did my artwork and give reason behind it. And at that same point in time, the artwork itself became a message relayer for me.
And would you mind telling us about your piece?
My piece is Strange Fruit, influenced by, of course, the famous blues song Billie Holiday, but which also was a poem. But recently, pop artist Andrea Day also redone the song Strange Fruit as well. The piece basically depicts off of the tragedy of lynching in the United States through poem. but lynching also is took front and center again through our modern day lynching, not so dramatically with ropes and bodies hanging, but through Black Lives Matter and through the NFL rebellion of the knee and statement, not against the flag, but against male brutality by police officers and things like that. So lynching has taken a new form in America, and the piece is a modern day part of that same trauma that Billie Holiday actually witnessed with actually seeing lynched bodies. But now we see brutality on TV. We see sexual harassment through politicians. We see sexual harassment through TV anchors and TV stars. So this is still a form of lynching. So this statement is still saying that it is still relevant, even though this poem, this song is of age, but still relevant in today's society.
So how did you approach your original concept?
I'm a school teacher by trade, so I deal with youth, 9th grade through 12th grade, and so I made it more modern by giving it part of that youth personality. I have students with green, purple, and blue hair, so this attracts people in. So I created an aesthetic of beauty in the piece to attract you at first, and then it draws you in to take control of you to address what it's actually talking about once you analyze it, seeing that the fruit that's on the tree are actually human beings that are being lynched, and that she's crying over these people because these also could probably be her brothers, her sisters, her children that are being lynched on these ropes that are from the popular tree. So she herself is the popular tree. So in the poem it talks of popular tree, meaning in wood, a strong bodied hardwood or softwood tree. They didn't care where they hung you from. You were hung from bridges, but as long as it could support your body. So in this case, she's trying to support these people from the braids of her own hair. So they are her people. And it also talks about the blood on the leaves and the blood on the roots. So you see that depicted in the piece. And then people ask, okay, what does the mic represent? We're giving homage to Billie Holiday because she was a great songstress. But at the same time, the mic represents that this is still a important message that's still relevant to today and still needs to be spoken to the people, and all people, not just African Americans, but all people, all races, those who oppress and those who are being oppressed.
And so what was your reasoning behind the choice of color?
Choice of color, green is the color of life. So we're dealing with the subject matter of death, but green is the color of life. So I'm giving life to an issue for it to be respoken and to be spun out from that greenness. We're setting a black background because the black is a color of purity. It's a neutral. It pushes things forward. So pushing the message forward into the space and making it become more relevant to the visual viewer.
And so how do we find any more of your work?
Visually, I do art gallery shows all over the place. I'm in Houston, Texas. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at this time. These are free websites, and I encourage my students at all times to use those medias as free and social networks, and so I do the same. You can find me at the artwork of Lloyd G. Wade on Facebook and Instagram, or you can just Google me, and several different areas of me will pop up on the net. So those places you can find me and my artwork. There are many different styles that I deal with. It's not, and also 3D work as well, ceramics, painting, drawing, the whole gamut.
Robert Cox, I'm the gallery director. I'm also associate professor here in visual arts. Been working with the gallery since I first started here in 1992. We had the good fortune of being able to have the gallery renovated back in, I'm trying to remember the year, but I remember this part at least. It was closed for 6 years. Due to renovations, we had some problems with it. So I remember this specifically. We reopened in 2009. So the very first homecoming exhibition was in 2009. I had the vision to connect with homecoming. One of the things I always wanted to do was to get more visibility and exposure for what we do over here, give our students, more opportunities to be seen and to be appreciated. So I had actually contacted the homecoming committee that summer, I remember it clearly, and went over and asked, I said, look, we've never been a part of homecoming, but can we be a part of homecoming? They asked me to step out the room. I thought they was gonna discuss it and get back with me, maybe next week or whatever. They called me right back in. They said, Mr. Cox, you on board. So the very first show we did was in 2009. It was our students, visual arts students. We called it the Gallery Grand Opening because the gallery had been closed for 6 years. The mural that's out in the hallway was done at the time. Matter of fact, all of the graphics in the hallway were done at that time. We did a real big event. We had music that evening. We had poetry, spoken word. We had comedy. We had a skit. So we incorporated all of the arts. We had an arts market. We had artwork for sale that people had produced. We had 29 student artists in that show. They had 64 pieces. That was the largest show that we had in this gallery before this one. This show we have 27 artists and we have 46 pieces. 27 artists, 46 pieces. And I just found out this evening, the eldest actually finished in 1964. I thought he had finished in about 1970. He finished in 1964. The youngest just finished this past spring in 2018. So that's the span of which we're covering. And when you look at this exhibition, this is the 10th annual homecoming exhibition. This is Alumni 4, so this is 4th that we've done for alumni. And when you look at the work here, and I wrote this in my letter, my introduction to the catalog, you will not see anything better than this anywhere. These young people are very talented. As many of them said, they've given credit to their instructors here at Southern University, the opportunities that they've had. I personally always believed in that. I felt it always had to be more than just a classroom. We take field trips. We go to galleries, we go to museums. One of the things we always did when we go out to places, we make sure we ate good. So expose people to like Caribbean food, Jamaican food, various things. So I wanted to give them a broad experience, give them the confidence, give them the opportunity to come in here and assist me with hanging these shows, the curator this year. Young woman, Kirsten Campbell, just recently graduated and started her MA in art history at LSU. Gave her the opportunity to do this. Last year, the year before that, one of our other students, Jade Myers, she was the first student to curate an exhibition. Her exhibition was called The Next Generation of Fire. Fire, and that show was fire. One of the most incredible exhibitions that we had. Just always love to give our students experiences and opportunities to encourage them, to motivate them, and of course, I'm gonna stay on them, right? When necessary, because I expect the best from them, nothing but the best. One of the things I also share with them, that's what was given to me. You always gotta pass the torch. I just didn't come upon this all by myself. I had excellent teachers, people that motivated me, people that stayed on my case. I never will forget when I was a freshman in college, an upperclassman asked me this question. He said, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a student or you want to be a professional? I was dumbfounded. I was like, well, I'm a student now, I'm having fun, and you need to get serious. So from that point on, I got serious and started taking this very serious because it was something that I personally wanted to do. I'm an artist myself. I curate exhibitions. I'm the director of the gallery. Matter of fact, I wear a whole bunch of hats, right? I teach art history. My specialty area is African American art, but I teach all of the art history. I teach art appreciation. I teach drawing, kind of do it all. And then one of the things when you look at black artists, and just black people, period, let's just be real about it, we're usually multi-talented, right? When you look at the art world, you have artists that are art historians, they're artists, they're art critics, right? We do a number of different things. And that's what I do. That's what I encourage my students to be able to do, to learn, give them the opportunity to have that experience. We want them to be full. We want them to be confident, as many of them have said, today. We want them to be confident. We want them to feel as though that they could exhibit their work anywhere, alongside anyone. And I feel confident that they could do so. I'm so proud of them for this show. Exciting for me, there are 27 artists in this show. The majority of them I taught. It's been many years ago, but the majority of them I taught, and I'm so proud of them.
Thank you so much.